Welcome friends. I'm on my own today. Hazel had her own agenda, so I thought I'd take myself down to Granville Island in Vancouver. It's quite an interesting place, quite a mix. There's comedy clubs, restaurants, boutique stores. We got buskers, we've got the water, we've got bridges. So if you're here for photography, there's an eclectic mix for all genres that no matter what you like. I've sat myself in the sun, sorry about the shadow from my hat, but it's still a little cool here, and I thought I'd sit there and warm up in the sun before I start my trip. Hopefully the busker behind me isn't drowning me out. You get quite a varied mix of quality with the buskers. They're better than me, so they have my respect. So I'm just going to go through what I'm using for photography today, aside from the phone, of course. So as I was out on my own today, I thought I'd bring my Canon 7D. At the moment, I've got a wide-angle lens on it and a 10 to 18mm. So for some of those scenic shots, I should be able to get enough width off of this. Sweet spot on this is getting towards the 18. If you're on 10, you lose a little bit in the corners. So if you're using the 10 to 18 lens, remember 10 might be too wide to keep the structure of your shot straight. Also, with me today, I've got my 35mm lens, which does macro. I shouldn't need it today, but it also has a little light on it if I'm throwing too many shadows on what I'm shooting. And sometimes we don't like to get a little too close to what we're shooting. So I brought my my 70-200 f2.8 with me. I can shoot those buskers from a distance and a few other things across the water that might be a far away. So that's what we're shooting with today. So here's a little bit for the tourist side. Behind me is Granville Market. I think, let me see, where's the sign for it? There's the sign for it. You can see, just taking myself out of shot so you can see Granville Island Public Market. Now, I said earlier that there's plenty of restaurants and things, so Bridges is probably one of the most notable, judging by the colour. I think that's the reason for it. It's now it's called Tap and Barrel. I'm going to switch the lens to show you what I can see. There's our Tap and Barrel. We've eaten in there, pretty nice. And as I pan around, Burrard Street Bridge is in the background. Someone's stuck a marquee there, so let me come back to that in a minute. Vancouver has quite a diverse mix of towers. We've got the Granville Street Bridge, and then we head back to Boring Car Park. So I've got myself away from that little marquee, looking over the marina now, towards the Burrard Street Bridge. I think it's one of the older bridges around in Vancouver, certainly one of the nicest. The rest are just plain bridges. And then back over into the downtown, or this is called False Creek, because they thought it was a creek, but it went nowhere. So there's the tourist bit for you. Now I'll get to onto taking some pictures. So, how about this then? Of all the places to find some interesting artwork, a cement works. We're still at Granville Island. Apparently these silos were painted by a Brazilian artist. I'll get the name in a moment. There's a plaque that gives all the details. So if you're down at Granville Island and you're fed up with the people in the market, go and have a wander around and see what else is around. Okay. So apparently the artwork is called Giants. It was the mural of twin brothers, Gustavo and Octavio Pandolfo, aka Os Gameos. They were from Brazil, from Sao Paulo, and they grew up creating art. So the brothers, they began as graffiti artists, and they emerged into recognised artists in the 1980s. So not bad, eh, for a couple of Brazilian graffiti artists. Art can come from anything. I think it's fantastic and I'm happy to see it. So safety first, nearly got run over by the cement truck. So when you're wandering around and you're distracted by your photos, keep one eye open out for the traffic. Okay, so heading east past the cement works, we have all these art galleries and education centres. I think this one used to be Emily Carr. It's not anymore, it's the Arts Umbrella. And then we have a bunch of little, what do you call them, modular buildings which contain different kind of artists. Apparently they open their doors to the public to view their artwork on specific days. So it's very artsy around at this end. This building here was definitely Emily Carr. I was involved with this building some 16, 17 years ago when it was renovated. So behind the Emily Carr, or what was the Emily Carr Art Centre, down by the water, we've got these homes. People live in these. They're houseboats type things, but they look like regular buildings. Hazel loves to photograph these. There's all different types of architecture here. This one has a roof deck. That one looks like something out of a film. These are just functional by the look of it. And as you can see out on the water there's another one through there. It's quite interesting. Now that leads onto the marina, which is down here. There's a few more. I guess people can park their own boats and just get off and go home. And just past the last houseboat, we're into the False Creek area. I don't know whether you can see, let's see if I can pan in the distance there. That dome is the Science World, which is near Main Street, very touristy area. And we pan round into the marina. I'm not going to head that way this time. Maybe we'll have a look another day. So that was a weird encounter. When I ended the last video, I was so distracted, someone managed to sneak up behind me. I thought they wanted to get in the shot. There's a lady from Essex. She wandered off. I was talking to her husband, and they're here as tourists. That's funny. So I've taken myself a little further along to the east end towards the marina. There's not much more over this way for photography, but there is one thing I wanted to point out to you budding photographers, and you might have to go with a little wider angle lens. I'll have to get rid of my 70-200 and switch to my 10-18, because behind me is this crane, or technically it's a derrick, but you can call it a crane. Vivid yellow colour, which will come out in your shots, especially on a nice sunny day like today. So I'm going to park myself and switch lens, and I'll take a couple of pictures at different sides of it, and you can get a good view. You know, sometimes you just can't get the shot you want. There's a construction fence around here, there's trees in the way, and it just makes for an awkward shot. I tried the other sides a little better. That's the picture I'm going to use for the video. Also, I'm on the lee side here, so you're in shadow, and I think the other side's better. So at the far end of Granville Island, we have crows making a lot of noise. We have this little inlet. I believe the canoeists, dragon boats sometimes come out of here. And we have Ron Basford Park. Nice quiet little spot, apart from the crows. I'm not going to explain who Ron Basford is, look it up. But it's a nice quiet little area, and in the summer is in full bloom for those who like your plants and flowers. So as we said earlier, Granville Island is known for its art. Some of it good, some of it diverse, some of it a little strange. Either way, I'm sure there are people that appreciate it. Probably the birds. So I was talking earlier about this little creek that comes up here. The whole place is called False Creek, but this round the south side of the island, it just comes to a dead end. And I said that the dragon boats use it. They come out from there. I'm standing on a jetty here, which the dragon boats launch from, and you can see the dragon boats behind me. I took a shot of them earlier, which I'll put up in just a moment, and showing some symmetry. I did some symmetry shots with the ramp behind me. I'll use both of those in another discussion on symmetry, but just quickly put them in this little video for you. It's getting warm now, so I'm starting to enjoy the day. If you look behind me to the north, lovely blue sky. I'm going to head back to Broad Street Bridge and do a shot through the bridge, and hopefully we can incorporate some lovely blue sky. All right, catch you soon. So if you're visiting without children, Granville Island, get yourself a beer. So that's it for Granville Island today. Just heading out the island. Note to self, do not go to Granville Island on spring break, because the traffic is horrendous and it gets very crowded. Having said that, during the summer, when the weather's fine, it also gets crowded. So you can't win either way. Cold, wet, miserable winter's day, it's fine. So hope you enjoyed your little tour of Granville Island, and hope you enjoy the images that I managed to capture. Take care for now. More videos to come. Stay tuned.